All right. Hey there. So I've been trying something new. And if you follow me, you know that I do Mind Blowing Monday 1, 2, 3, which is my newsletter. So every week you get one quote, two questions for reflection, and three ways to lead with joy for the week ahead. But for those of you who are not the newsletter reading type of folks, here I am with the video. And I've got it written in front of me here. So this week it is mindfulness, aligned action, and getting high. So, when I was married to my second husband, we walked into therapy. This was years before my daughter was born. And I remember the therapist said that I should learn to get high on life. And I remember at the time, I was like, first of all, she don't know about my life. What is she talking about? And rum and cokes taste much better because, that was my drink of choice back then. I didn't have any idea what she was talking about. What did she mean, get high on life? When I think about it, I must have been around, maybe I was around 30 or something like that back then. What I didn't realize at the time is that those cocktails that I used to adore were my escape. So they were my way of escaping both a relationship that wasn't working out and then also lots of unhealed trauma that at that stage in my life I had not yet processed. So I didn't break free to true joy until I learned to stay in the present and feel my feelings. It was not easy, but that staying in the present and feeling your feelings is what mindfulness is. So a lot of times we hear people use the term, oh, mindful, practice mindfulness, be mindful. All that really means is that you are staying in the present with whatever is happening in the present. And sometimes it can be difficult emotions that are in the present. So once I allowed myself to feel my pain, I could begin to work through it, right? We can't work through things if we don't know they exist. So I could begin to work through it and to make the decisions necessary to create the life that I wanted. I let go of that escapism that was so comfortable, and then I started taking aligned action toward real change. I love using the term aligned action because I have known a lot of people over the years, myself included, where we just be doing things. We're taking action, we're doing stuff, we're busy, we're all busy, our calendars are full, we got stuff to do. Don't try taking up all my time. But aligned action means that you are actually taking action that is in alignment with your values, with your goals, with the things you're trying to accomplish, and it's not just busy work, you're not just doing stuff. Escapism doesn't only show up as nostalgic cocktails seeped in memories of home. There is nothing more Caribbean than a good rum and coke. And my people are Caribbean, half Jamaican, half St. Lucian. Um, but it can also show up as stuff like a football obsession or any sports. I'm just picking on football, binge watching reality shows or any kind of shows, those kind of mind numbing. Um, could be clubbing. When I was young, I used to be in the club all the time, but it could be clubbing, it could be gambling, it could be weed, it could be, or as we say nowadays, cannabis. It could be porn, it could be video games, sleep meds, really anything that takes you out of the present and numbs your pain. The thing is, all of those entertaining distractions can they can be the thing that's actually keeping you stuck. And if you've ever watched an episode of Intervention, or if you've ever experienced addiction for yourself, or if you've experienced watching it in somebody in your family, you know that it can get really bad and it can cross into so many categories. Like porn can be a major addiction, gambling, all of those things. So I'm not here to say don't entertain yourself. You should entertain yourself, and only you know when the thin line between healthy entertainment and unhealthy escapism or even addiction has been crossed. My quote for you this week comes from none other than Rita Marley. I want to get high, so high. We used to jam to that song back in the day. So I grew up loving Rita Marley's song. I would sing along. Hey, Rastaman, hey, what you say? Give me some of your sexy. Right. So I realized later she was not saying, give me some of your sexy, although I still like that word. She was actually saying, give me some of your sensei, which is so short for a sense a million, which I, yeah, sense a million, which was, a strain of weed back in the day. I don't think they have that anymore. But we could all identify with that theme, right? Who didn't want to be high? There's a line in the song. She says, I want to be high, so high, right? So who didn't want to be high, to be free of the pain of life, even if it was just for a moment, just for a minute? So there is certainly a place for alcohol, your cocktails, your cannabis, your weed, whatever you call it, for people who need antidepressants or anti-anxiety meds, other mood other mood altering substances. There is a place for all of those things, but there is also an alternative with zero side effects when pharmaceuticals are not medically necessary. I'm laughing at myself because I am so sore from like this yoga challenge I've been doing. So there could be a little side effect depending on which route you go. But what is the real high, right? The real high, and this is where I feel like I live my life now, is this place of joy, of authenticity, of clarity, of being able to be yourself and show up as yourself and know who that self is, right? And show up in the world feeling good about who you are. And when you have places where maybe you don't feel so good, you identify them and you work on them, and then you make progress, and then you're like, ooh, look at me go. So so that is the real high, the kind of natural elevation that comes when you fully show up in your life and lead from your truth. So, all of that to say, my therapist was onto something. She was onto something when she said, you need to learn how to get high on life. And I was like, what's this woman talking about? She knew something. All right. So you got the quote from Rita Marley. The two questions for this week. As you move through this week, ask yourself, one, how do I find myself escaping when life gets hard? How do I find myself escaping when life gets hard? Awareness is key. So, just that first piece, noticing how you escape. Do you go for a run? Do you binge watch TV? Maybe you just go to sleep. Do you grab a beer? Recognizing those patterns is the door to self awareness. And if you follow me at all, the self awareness is the door to everything else. Everything else good that you want comes through noticing yourself, this whole beautiful creation that's you. Second question, what would it look like for me to take aligned action instead? So instead of like numbing out when something bothers you, what would it look like to take some sort of aligned action? So alignment happens when your actions are true to your values. So it could look like, you know, maybe you're stressed out about your current job. It could be like you listen to a business podcast, like an entrepreneurial podcast. Maybe that's an aligned action that you can take when the boss is just really pissing you off, right? Um, or maybe, or maybe it's like you're, not feeling good about your physical body. So maybe your aligned action could be finding a gym in your area or finding a yoga studio. So you could be sore like you could be sore like me. Um, or finding some way to work out to improve your physical health. So those are the two questions for you. And then I have three ways to lead with joy for the week ahead. So these are a few ways to lean into that natural high this week. Number one, identify your favorite way to get high on life? What naturally elevates your mood? So for me, I know nature and me, we get down. I know like yoga. I go to yoga class, I come out high as a kite. Honestly, sometimes people trying to talk to me and I'm just like, what? What are you talking about? Huh? Like I'm like in a daze. So what is it that makes you high? Maybe for you it's music. I love to do my singing in the shower in the morning or dancing in front of the mirror. Or it could be connection, like when I have really sweet conversations with my friends, when we kiki and laugh really hard, that's one of those things that make me high. One of the funniest things I used to do with my younger sisters, a lot with her, for whatever reason, I would laugh so hard I couldn't talk. You know what I'm saying? You know when you can, or even worse, like if I'm trying to tell a joke and I can't even get it out. So, sometimes you have those things that just really, really make you feel good. Identify them, put them in your toolbox so that like, okay, this is something that I can access if I want to get that natural high. And you don't just stumble into it by accident. You know when you can access it. So name it and make time for it. Second way to lead with joy and lean into that natural high for the week ahead, name your escape hatch. Mm. So call out that one habit that's numbing instead of nourishing. And nobody's telling you to change it, right? So whatever that thing is, just get curious about it and ask yourself, what is it covering up? So if you have a habit that you know is a little bit of an escapism type thing, maybe it's not your healthiest habit, just be curious about it. You might have a little conversation with your habit and ask it, what's behind it? What is it covering up? And then the third way to lead with joy this week and lean into that natural high is to take one aligned action. So we talked about what that might look like. Now is your opportunity to actually take one small step. So just one. It could be making a phone call you need to make or having a conversation you need to have. Maybe you need to enforce a boundary. I know lately I've had clients like, texting me on Sunday night and stuff like that. And, sometimes I let it go, but then sometimes I'm like, okay, I need to just make my voice heard and enforce a boundary. It could be writing in your journal. That's a wonderful way to work through what's going on in your mind. It is not the same as just thinking, writing, or typing. It makes a big difference because it forces you to organize what's going on inside your head. And maybe it's a decision that needs to be made. So, whatever it is, think about taking one aligned action for the week. Doesn't have to be big, it just has to be honest. Mindfulness allows us to stay in the present and feel our feelings however they show up. And aligned action allows us to check in with our values and move towards those goals and dreams that we have so that we can get to that high place, a place with freedom and fun and room for creativity and the joy that we really desire. So that's it. If you made this far, you're already doing the work. You're part of the 1%. Keep going and have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye. Oh, and make sure to like, subscribe, follow. I gotta work on my throat, but make sure to like, subscribe, follow. And if you want to get this in your inbox, go ahead and go to my website and you can sign up so that you get my Blog Monday 1, 2, 3 every Monday morning. All right.